Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Silent breed is people! One morning I shot an elephant in my pajamas. How he got in my pajamas, I don't know.
They call me Mr. Tibbs.
E.T. phone home.
Top news stories of the week. Time to find out once again with Megan Olson and News of the Week on The Al Travis Show.
Love having her on the program. Always fun. Megan's News and Review. We take the top 5 stories or so that were tweeted, retweeted, liked, and that sort of thing, and we discuss. Megan, this is going to be the Hortman story for probably weeks to come because then the trial comes, that sort of thing. But there is some interesting news that happened in last week. I was here her funeral on Friday and Saturday. Story, what do you get? What is your thoughts on the funeral? I got 2. Oh, good.
You give your thoughts first, Al.
All right, here. I was very happy for the most part from the time the issue happened, the shootings and the rest, that 100% of the people I know in Congress, the Senate and the House, no one got political. We're behind the Hortmans, we're behind the Hoffmans, and every one of those. Now, you don't have to go far outside the circle to find folks looking to get a meme on some of this stuff. So, but if you just took those folks, and I was very happy for that. We did not talk any politics up until we started now Monday. Now the funeral's over. And I think that's the way it got to go. And hopefully everybody will talk differently. And I was thrilled with that until, and this is going to sound bad, Al, you just hate the president and Kamala. When I saw that the President Biden and Kamala showed, and would have been fine if they were, as I understand it, they weren't, but if they were friends and they showed, great. Don't tweet it. Don't exit. Don't send it out in some, look at me, I came and saw the poor, Mr. Hoffman. That bothered me. I likened it to Oprah Winfrey. You're probably young. Oprah Winfrey gave out cars to everybody, right? You get a car, you get a car, you get a car.
Yes.
And the women, oh my God, she's the greatest person ever. I said, yeah, until she wrote every one of those cars off as a business expense, took 100 off the top, and she got all the, aren't I the greatest person ever? Yeah. I gave you a car. You want to go visit them? I love the idea of that. Don't have photos or take photos and say, hey, your family,
it's the same thing with, when you're going to volunteer or doing a mission trip or some sort of service. If you need the public recognition and the credit, I think that kind of shows you where your heart is. But I also think it's hard when you're elevated to this standard in politics where you can't, there's no kind of going around the fact that everyone's going to know that they're there. But I also think there's that kind of underlying dynamic of President Trump refusing to call Walls.
Well, I think that's
coming
why
to
they're
the funeral and kind of a stick it to him thing. But yes, President Biden did visit Hoffman in the hospital. It's a very great photo that's, been circulated. I thought the service was beautiful. Star Tribune did make a little bit of an error when they published an article about it with a photo of Republicans and Democrats in the first row, like kneeling in the pews during the service. And then in the caption of the photo only called out the Democrat representative and senator there, ignored, Representative Fishbach and Representative Finstad. They quickly changed that. But it just goes to show there's only so much you can rise above. That the underlying political dynamic here is it's still going to be there. And that's the hard part.
But that's what bothers me. We know there's going to be a funeral. This is how it's going to be. I don't know why the rest of the world couldn't wait until Monday. You can go back to being the Star Trib. You can go back to Pine. Do you? But can you get us through this time? And this is back to President comes, takes photos with the family. I'm all for it. Let's not post them until the next week and say, oh, by the way, they were here. The problem with these folks, too, by the way, and it's got to be tough being the president, vice president, whenever you are, it changes everything. There had to be a new level of security for this cat to come in. It had to take the place of a half a dozen friends.
I'm sure the security was already incredibly high, just given the high profile of some of these people and the fact that, some lower profile. This was Speaker Emerita that was politically assassinated. Like, I wouldn't call that, being elevated to the federal level. We had, a bunch of state representatives and senators there, and they've been having increased security as well. But the Hoffmans this weekend did kind of deliver an update talking about how Senator Hoffman is continuing to recover, facing a long road ahead. And they're kind of giving a little bit of a glimpse as to what happened that night. They said, "We're so grateful Hope happened to be at our house that night. All of us were lined up at gunpoint." So I'm sure we'll kind of get more details as they continue to heal and get comfortable with kind of sharing their story. But really, really crazy situation. It sounds like Yvette is pretty much healed from her wounds.
Yeah.
She was seen not in a hospital gown in that photo with President Biden, but Senator Hoffman himself is definitely looking at a long road to recovery.
What I read is he is to be able to get up and walk. Now,
That's
back
huge.
in the day, if I got a gunshot wound, I'm lying there moaning for a week and a half. I'm not getting up. Today, these people do surgeries on folks, and the nurses kick you out of bed like the next moment. It's like, give me a second.
There's a bunch of research studies too, and maybe this is just I'm watching Grey's Anatomy right now, so I'm a doctor. But there are studies that show the sooner you get up after surgery, it does help your body heal. So I am a doctor. I could do a thoracotomy. Like,
you give me a pen and a little knife, I'm there. I'm cutting your neck open. I'm with you 100%. No, so he is doing better in that he has the ability to walk. Where he's at with all the rest, I really don't know. I'm just trying to keep online as like you do as well. But the show's always open. His Monday time slot is always there, and I'm waiting for him to say, okay, I'm ready for Monday, and we'll get him back on the program. I'm excited for him and his family. Very grateful that they're still here. The funeral, I thought, was absolutely beautiful.
There were hundreds of thousands of Minnesotans lined up outside the Capitol Friday for viewing as well. She's the first female to lie in state, so that's a pretty huge, accomplishment. I don't know if I've said it on this show, but I've talked about it with friends that, they're building that new state office building. And I think what an incredible tribute it would be to call that state office building the Melissa Hortman state office building or some sort of nod to her. I think that would be great. I don't know if that's happening behind the scenes.
Oh, we're going to start pushing that right now. We're going to throw that. I love that idea. The Hortman office building would be fantastic. Great idea. Great idea. Mine was, you knew they were her and her husband going to lie in state and the dog. That's all I knew. And I'm like, I'm not sure how you're going to do that. The casket. The dog was cremated, and a nice little urn there, the dog in a photo. And it was tasteful as all get out. Now, I don't know who's in charge of making sure it's tasteful and all the flowers. It was gorgeous. They did a really, really nice job. So give them credit for that. All right. Where are we at? Oh, we got to go to break. We'll back up this. Megan's News and Review. Much more to talk about right after this.
If it's your turn to host a game, Grandpa's Barbecue suggests you try something different. Put out the perfect barbecue flavor of Grandpa's Barbecue. Add it to your ribs, dip the meatballs, or drench your wings in the original flavor of Grandpa's Barbecue. It isn't too hot or spicy, fruity or smoky or whatever. Grandpa's Barbecue. Available in select stores and online at grandpasbarbecueshop.com.
You know that car sound that sounds like a cricket playing a banjo? Jay's can fix that. You know when you step on the brakes and your car sounds like a pair of tennis shoes in the dryer? Paul is the guy who specializes in that. And you know that sound that never happens when the mechanic's around? Paul took a whole course on that. If you own a car, you need to know Paul. Paul owns Jay's Auto Shop, 202 North Main Street, Blue Earth, 525-1052, 525-1052.
friends. The Al Travis Show. Nothing but talk.
I love getting Megan's news and review in here. One thing she said we are going to talk about today is the new laws. New laws coming into place, and I want to talk about a couple of them, so let me throw them at you. This one I find interesting because we just want to make problems. Places of entertainment will be required to provide access to free water or allow attendees to bring their own factory-sealed water or empty water bottles to events of 100 people or more. No. Okay, it gets hot. Understand that. I presume most of these places are like, but we sell water bottles. No! You must give it free if there's 100 people or more. Because the exact same thing happened with 99 people on the crowded fairgrounds. Yeah, too bad. If it's right, it's right. If it's wrong, it's wrong. You know what I mean? How do you go to, well, when it's really hot, once you get to 101 people,
I will say I do like that they specified factory sealed water bottle or empty water bottle, because if they didn't, they'd enter into a whole host of problems. You'd have people trying to sneak in alcoholic
liquor,
beverages, whatever. So I mean, I think it's a good law. The whole 100 people thing, I don't know.
Why would a group of 10, if you're being charged for 10 of you and it's 1,000 degrees, you got to give them free water? Why not? If it's good for the goose, good for the gander. The other one that I think people don't know, and in Minnesota, this is going to bite them in the butt. Anyone 12 years or older has to have a permit to operate a watercraft.
Which includes PWCs, which is really important. So jet skis, e-foils, personal watercraft. A
friend of mine, those, what do you call them, paddle boards. Blow-up paddleboard's got to be registered now in this new law. He knew, he was a lawyer. But my point being, so you're a 35-year-old man. You've been driving your boat forever. You got your wallet on you and you got your driver's license, which is all we need up to this point. Not anymore. Get your butt down to, where do you go? The DMV? I guess
you're not grandfathered into the old.
You got to get 40.
Some grandfathered rule of
41 and above. Yeah, 41 and above. So my point being is, again, if it's good for everybody, why is the 41-year-old guy exempt from this? Because they get ticked and they own most of the boats. That's the problem.
Well, and on the PWC issue, too, or like anyone 12 or older, I think they have it for scooters, but I feel like they might need it for more. I mean, golf carts, other things, I don't know if it's, cities are supposed to have ordinances or what, but our town, really, we got a lot of people zipping around on scooters. We don't have any lakes, so I don't have issues with kids on jet skis, but kids on scooters, man. They're crazy.
But my point is it going to really make anything safer? Yeah. Or is it just a money grab? Is it just another way of making you?
On the note of safety, too, I mean, there's a new law that I don't think is going to make a lot of people safer.
Oh, I'm going to say, let me one last thing. Let me leave one more thing. As I understand it, if you're from another state, that these rules don't apply. Mm-hmm. If you're a Wisconsinner, you drive over here, your 12-year-old can drive in the boat and take care of business. It's only if you're a Minnesotan. Thus telling me it's not about safety. Right? We don't let 12-year-old kids drive the cars out here. Yeah. This is a money grab. And to me, they're going to other
states to have their own, set of rules.
Sure. How about motorcycles as of today allowed to lane split and lane filter. These are
which, if you don't know that
terms.
This is now a new legal thing, you're going to probably get really blindsided out there on the road. Yeah. Motorcycle starts coming up between you and a car.
Now, there's all kinds of weird rules, and you got to get on it. If it's got to be at 25 miles an hour or less when you're backing up in traffic. They can only go 15 miles an hour.
They can faster. Take a shortcut right up to the beginning of the line at the stoplight.
Exactly. And the lane splitting, and a lot of people, if you don't know that, you will get ticked. That guy's coming up, the motorcycle, they're just lining up, like, what the world are you cats doing? This is not going to go well. And tell me how this makes it safer. I don't get how, okay, you guys can drive down and I get if you're a motorcycle guy, you just want to get where you're going. If we're in a traffic jam, this is a city thing. You're in a traffic jam, great. I don't have a problem. Go on the flipping side, get out of the way, fine. But this is talking as you're driving down the road, then go down the middle.
Yeah.
And if you're not ready for it, you talk about blind spots.
Sometimes when you get up to a light, you're like, oh crap, I have to take the next right or left. Now I have to switch lanes. If you're not paying attention in your, side mirrors, you don't see this motorcyclist coming up in the middle of the lane. So the more you know.
Yeah. That starts today, people. There's a whole lot of stuff like the third Tuesday of the month. This doesn't apply. There's just a lot of weird crap in there, but take a look at it. The other one, which is like, you got to be kidding me. This is a new law. This should have been known forever. Agencies will be able to withhold payments to a program participant if there's evidence of fraud. Do I got to hit myself? We just made a law that if we think you're frauding us, we can stop paying you.
It's a weird law even too, because it kind of violates due process in some sort of way where it's like, oh, I think there might be fraud, or like there's a little bit of evidence, but like maybe it could be explained, but oh, we're just going to withhold payments anyways, and now we're going to have this big long investigation. I think, the Office of Inspector General, other things that were proposed primarily by the Republicans were a better path forward, but this is what we've got.
I'm okay with this, and here's why. And now everything you sign out, like when you put a new app on your phone and you accept the terms, and there's 65 pages and basically says if you don't pay your bill, we get your firstborn child. We're all good with that. I'm okay with this saying if you're going to get money from the government, you have to sign the paper that said, should we suspect fraud, it will stop. If you prove your innocence, we'll catch you back up. This is what it takes because we got to guarantee we aren't getting stolen for hundreds of millions. I'm okay with this. I get your due process. You're innocent until proven guilty. Okay, sign this paper saying you give that up if you want free stuff from us until we can prove it. Is that wrong? You're looking at me like I'm a mean old man.
I mean, I agree with the principle, but I think in, execution and just kind of the constitutional nature of due process within this, I just think there were better ways to address the fraud.
Due process is a criminal thing. This is us giving you free stuff. As soon as we know you're not messing with us, you get free stuff. Here's the other one that I find. This is a law now. It will now be a crime to knowingly cause or permit a child to inhale or be exposed to or contact with
basically
fentanyl.
Mandatory reporting, similar to mandatory reporting for therapists with minors when it comes to sexual assaults or abuse or anything like that. Now we're applying it to drugs.
Okay, and this is new. It's 2025. The fentanyl crisis has been killing us. And we're like, well, I didn't know I had to tell you that they were giving their kids fentanyl. I'm sorry, I'm missing something.
Well, and this
it is
comes
amazing.
even after too. I know we talked about on the show, there was a daycare that was exposed for a child ate some substances off of the floor of a bathroom, and it turned out it was crystal meth.
Yeah. And we're just now going to write a law for that. I don't know. Maybe I'm just missing something. Especially when you look at our law books. We have massive amounts of laws, and we're just getting around. Oh, by the way, if you let your kid get a hold of drugs, you're in trouble. Maybe I'm missing something, Megan. Anything else on the new law front? That's the ones I had.
I mean, the only other kind of big one that people are excited about, or at least hunters are excited about, is the Southern Minnesota shotgun zone is now eliminated. So you can hunt with rifles, you can hunt with your handgun. They lifted that just for deer hunters in Southern Minnesota. So that was a big one. And then increased penalties for assaulting firefighters, pretty kind of standard. We can all agree on. Good stuff.
I think it is. I think it's back to the shotgun thing because I was a shotgun hunter down here. It was just another way the government can tell you what you can do. We're just going to be in charge. Because like the deer cares. Oh, wait a minute. That's a shotgun. Anyway, I'm glad of that. What do you think 2026 is going to be like as we get started here? What do you think going on in
2026? It's that Walz third term. I mean, he was expected to announce early this summer. Obviously, given recent events, that's kind of been pushed back. It'll be interesting to see how long he waits before saying what his plans are. A third term, I don't know. Star Tribune recently had a poll come out, and his approval rating continues to decline, particularly with greater Minnesota and the metro. It's kind of held firm, but that urban-rural divide definitely is going to be playing out here in 2026. And
you got to think with
I don't know.
the Star Trib putting that out, it might even be worse than that. He's going to have some real figuring to do. And what does he have that he can turn that around before then? Because right now, there's not much going on.
Republicans only have Kendall Qualls, who has announced. So we'll see if others kind of pop out of the framework, if there'll be an endorsement battle, potentially a primary from both parties. And
I think there will be, which again, just with the death and all what's going on, even though the session's over, they've had to wait. I don't know what the appropriate amount of time is, but they'll be switching around.
We'll see who's the first to kind of break the ice, if you will.
You have yourself a great 4th of July, will you?
Yep, absolutely. And I will be sure to consume all the news I can over the 4th. So we're ready to come back next week to talk about the top Minnesota news stories of the week with Megan's News and Review on the Al Travis Show.
Think about it. A famous politician once said, "You're entitled to your opinion."